one of the whistleblowers that Sean Ryan had on, and this is like the most out there shit that I think I heard on that podcast, was this one guy. He was contracted by Raytheon, I believe, to work in the Antarctica. He was there from 2010 to 2011. And I can't remember what his role was exactly, but, well, he had two roles there. He was the head of the firefighting unit, and as well as like
the firefighting unit on a island device.
Yeah, it already sounds like bullshit, doesn't it?
Yeah, no, I'm sure there's the legitimate reasons for little fires and stuff like that, but yeah, it is a giant island device.
So what he blew the whistle on was that they have technologies that they're working on there that can actually cause earthquakes, and there's other technologies that can sort of implant thoughts in people's minds as well. And he claims that the earthquake in 2011, I think it was, near Australia and New Zealand, was actually caused by this experiment they were doing in the Antarctica. And it wasn't done on purpose, but it was an accident, and it actually caused this, that was the cause of the earthquake, supposedly, according to this guy that was, he had clearance to like the entire place because of the two roles that he had. So he was like one of the only guys with the clearance. So he was able to sort of get understanding of everything that was going on there. And
I physically held a key that opened every single door in the facility. I had complete access to every compartment they manufactured.
What are you blowing the whistle on?
That there are technologies at the South Pole Station that people can't even consider that exist on this planet. Directed energy weapon systems is something that people need to get in their vocabulary fast. The ice cube neutrino detector is not simply a passive listening device as presented for the science that they're claiming it to do. It also has the capacity to transmit. There are embedded in the ice what are called digital optical modules, DOMs. They're about the size of a basketball. The array embedded in the ice is 1 kilometer by 1 kilometer by 1 kilometer. It is the world's largest telescope. And now, because we have proven that it can transmit, it's the world's largest directed energy weapons system. It is responsible for the earthquakes in Christchurch, New Zealand.
That's what he claims. And he says that he also said that this is probably the craziest thing that he said was McDonald's is currently trying to get their hands on the technology to implant thoughts into people's minds about McDonald's, about going to buy McDonald's. I don't know, how the fuck it works, but apparently that technology exists. Have you heard of it before?
Yeah, isn't it? It's like television and media. Isn't that how you like mimesis? Is it? Don't we already have that technology? Isn't it memes? Like, isn't it like marketing and like a whole bunch of other shit?
You're right. You're right. He refers to it as like another voice in your head, is what he refers to it. And fuck, I can't remember the scientific terminology he used to explain how it works, but basically they can sort of implant like these specific, very specific thoughts in your head, it's like what you're saying through marketing, but it's deeper than that, is what he claims.
Yeah, I'd be kind of skeptical of that, just like because like we all humans like are similar in a sense, but we're all very diverse in the like we're not computationally homogenous in the way that our brains would work and go through it. So I would be skeptical that you would be able to like, plan a specific voice in somebody's head without knowing like the detailed sort of intricate workings and structure, models that a person's running on, so to speak. But yeah, look, I'm open to it. If they show me some stuff and we can read about it, for sure. I'd be more likely to believe it. But at this point, I'm just like, yeah, this is just like a bunch of crackpots. Also, funny side note, that guy that was the contractor, like, he's for sure not getting hired again. Like, it's fucking idiot, you know? Like, I don't know. I would like to meet some of these people in real life just to like get a, you know, like how when you're with somebody in person, you can, okay. Well, so when you're near somebody in person, you get a vibe. Like, and it sounds weird to say you get a vibe, but like, you know, what do they say? 93% or 97% of communication is nonverbal, right? It's like subtle body language cues and eye movement and different like little traits with their body. I would love to just sit with some of these people and ask them like questions and like look into their eyes and like sort of like get a read on them, if that makes sense. On a podcast, you can sort of do that, but like I feel like in person is like the highest data throughput. You know, like it's the highest bandwidth form of communication. Because I feel like a lot of these people are just like attention seekers. You know, like I feel like this is like the, you know, you have fitness influencers that Photoshop their photos and do all this crazy shit to get more attention. Then you have like these people who are like come up with crazy, outlandish shit to try and get attention. And I just don't know. But the Antarctica stuff is actually fascinating. Why is it fascinating to me? Well, there are some like interesting, don't know if they're 100% real or true, like scans of the Earth that show that there are some like decent size structures in Antarctica. But I also think the same thing is true for the Arctic. Like I think that there is a decent chance that if they melt, right, we might find that there were civilizations that lived on these poles.
I believe that.
You know, yeah, I think that I think, you know, Randall Carlson and oh my God, who's the other guy that does it with him? We spoke about him before.
I'm not sure who you mean, guy.
Graham Hancock, that's the one.
Fucking love that
Talk
guy.
about like, yeah, same. And so it's just interesting that, you know, human history is actually longer than what we have been told. All right. And, you know, if you look at when the Bible was written and came out, or, you know, like was started to become popular, that's like, you know, you have BC and AD, you know, like the timelines, right? Like apparently there is evidence to show that humans have been in a similar form to they are now for longer than what we previously thought. Yeah. And so I think it could be entirely likely that, you know, there was civilizations that got to a level of advancement that's like in a completely different direction to how we've advanced, you know, like different technologies. Like you look at the pyramids and the stones and all of that sort of stuff. That developed these other technologies that could have been and gone, and that we've forgotten, or we don't have the remnants, or that their remnants are covered under, you know, like, you know, thousands of meters of ice or hundreds of meters of ice, and so we can't find them yet. I think that's a plausible thing. That could be a real thing. I don't know if it's 100% true. I'm not going to speak like, that's definitely for sure true or anything. Like, I'm not going to speak certainly like these other people, but I think it's interesting. I think it's plausible.
Apparently there's been a breakthrough recently where a team of scientists they dug a hole. I can't remember if it was in the Antarctica or in like the North Pole, but they dug a small hole using hot water and I don't know, some other technique. It took them a very long time. And they finally like got through all the ice. They sent a camera down. And when they sent a camera down, it hit water, right? And then they got really good footage of this like underwater ecosystem that was able to
Atlantis.
What's that? Atlantis? Yo, what's his name? You just mentioned him. Fuck. Our guy.
Graham Hancock or Randall Carlson.
He's got a couple of theories of where Atlantis could have been. But then he also says that Atlantis probably wasn't just one place. It was like many places as well. There could have been many different Atlantises.
Yeah. I think it could just be, Atlantis could have just been a term that yes, people use for places that had advanced technology.
Yeah. But this breakthrough, what they found was there's like this ecosystem underneath the ice that didn't require sunlight in order to survive. And they found it was very like a thriving ecosystem there. And they also got some footage of some land formations that they claimed couldn't have been naturally made, that something made these land formations. So, I mean, the ice wasn't always there, right? So there was a time when there was likely a very flourishing ecosystem in that part of the world. So it's very possible that people did live there and possibly even constructed things as well, right?
Yeah. But the reality is like we like to speak with certainty about a lot of things as humans. Like this is definitely how it happened in the past. Like the way that light codes work, like you can't tell that much. It's like these are sort of what people call educated guesses, but you can't forget that they're guesses. And, like they can be informed by theories and levels of knowledge, but they're still fallible. Like there's still going to be holes there. Like there's still assumptions that need to be made. Like another interesting thing is like if you read history, like there's a good saying with history. It's like it's told by the victors. So when you read history, you have to understand like this is from a certain reference frame. This is from a certain perspective, and like that's probably not exactly how it happened. There's probably many different sides to the story and different experiences for different people in those scenarios and in that history.